Hey, we're going to get into part number 7 of The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. I'm going to focus on chapter 21, where we talk about the freedom of will. Not my will, but thine be done. The I will be thought is a confession that I am not. Now, this is so interesting and fascinating, because a lot of us stay in the vibration of trying to be something. We want to start larger companies, and we want to create more revenue, or we want to be married in the future and say, I will be married and I will be successful. The I will be is a confession I am not. But the Father's will, God's source, power, empowerment, whatever you call it, the highest level of consciousness is I am. It's not I will be, it's always I am. The greatest power within you is always present in the now. It doesn't stay in the past, and it doesn't worry about the future. It is always now. It is always from a state of I am. I used to love to hear Muhammad Ali say, I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I am. Until you realize that you are the Father, or I like to say you are one with Source. We are of the same essence of being. I am an offspring in like kind, just like our children are the same kind as us. That's what makes them our children, our offspring. And I believe that that's exactly how it is with us and the creative source that brought us here. Until you realize that you are one with Source, and there is only one I am, and that your infinite self is that I am, then you're always left with the sense of I will be one day. Do we know people that always say, one day I'm going to go on that trip, one day I'm going to do this, one day I'm going to do that, and they never get around to it? He says, in the law of assumption, your consciousness of being is the Father's will. The mere wish without this consciousness is the I will be, or your own will. It is a perfect example of the law of assumption, or what we would call today the law of attraction. It is impossible to do anything. You must be in order to do. If you had a different concept of yourself, everything would be different. You are what you are, so everything else is as it is. The events that you observe are determined by the concept you have of yourself. If you change your concept of yourself, the events ahead of you in time are altered. Every great champion has already done this right before your eyes. All the champions on TV that you see winning trophies and winning prizes assume that their wishes will be fulfilled according to their desire. And this is one of my favorite parts. Your assumption is creative and forms an atmosphere. Your assumption, if it be a noble one, increases your assurance and helps you to reach a higher level of being. If on the other hand, if your assumption is a low one, it hinders you and makes your downward way swifter. Just as the lovely assumptions create a better atmosphere, so the hard and bitter assumptions create a hard and bitter atmosphere. A famous ancient writer put it this way: whatsoever things are pure, just, and lovely, of good report, think on these things. Philippians 4, verse 8. He goes on to say, you win by assumption what you can never win by force. And this for me is the most exciting part, and something that I have witnessed over and over in my life. An assumption, or what I would call a vision of faith, is a certain motion of consciousness. Now remember, consciousness creates your entire world. Everything you experience in your life is a result of your consciousness, your awareness, and your intelligence to perceive all the things that you're perceiving. You can have two people rooting for two different teams in the same stadium right next to each other. They witness the same exact game, but they experience it completely differently, because your experience is determined by your own consciousness. This motion, like all motion, exercises an influence on the surrounding substance, causing it to take the shape of, echo, and reflect the assumption. Assume you are already what you want to be. And you continue therein without wavering and without doubt. And the reality of your vision will come to pass. If you persist in your vision, in your assumption, in your attraction, it will harden into facts. You cannot determine conditions and events. Those are already outside of your control, but you can determine how you will think, what you will think, and the degree of assurity that you bring to your own spirit, that whatever you think and whatever you persist in and whatever you believe will come to pass in your own life. This is a very simple concept that most people do not employ. I've seen this happen in my own life. I went from making $10 to $20 per hour to making that per minute. I've went from making about $30,000 to $40,000 digging ditches in concrete holes, trying to feed my family, to making over $300,000 per year within 1 year, when I realized that whatever I believe and persist towards comes to pass. True belief. I'm not saying trying to believe something. Most people want to have faith in what they want to have faith in, but they don't have actual faith. It's a difference. Most people go to church and they want to believe in God, or they want to believe in Jesus, or they want to believe in Buddha or whoever, but they're going there to get that going, to develop that, to convince themselves. And I've seen people do that for 20 or 30 years, trying to convince themselves that they could be healed or trying to build faith. But when it comes down to it, a new person comes in, just like in the scriptures, and they just believe it right away. They just believe it. You do or you don't. Faith doesn't have to be senior. It just has to be there. Jesus said, if you just have faith the size of a mustard seed, you could move mountains. So it's not about quantity, it's about the quality. You either have it or you don't. And so pick things that are closer to where you are. Pick things that you can believe for sure. Start where you can truly believe it. And once you start to see that every time you do this, it happens, then that will give you even more assurance that, you know what, I'm thinking too small. Let me double it. Let me triple it. Let me quadruple it. It's better to achieve things that are small than to wish for things that are big for your entire life that never come to pass. Most people have this big old huge grand vision, which just comes from ego, and says, oh, I want to be a millionaire, or I want to be a billionaire, or I want to be famous, I want to do all of these things. And they don't even take the next initial step to make one more dollar. And so they get stuck there for 30 years wishing and hoping and making a fantasy of it. I would rather you successfully double your income wherever it is right now from 40 to 80,000 instead of dreaming about being a millionaire for the rest of your life. Get realistic with yourself. Think as big as you can, but this is about actually believing something that can get done and not wavering in it. Don't let it go. Continue to persist in it, and you give it all of your desire, your visualization, and your vision to it. Write it down on a card. Look at it every day. Write it down in your journal. Look at it every day. Write it down as a note in your phone and look at it every single day, morning time, noon time, and then nighttime. And I promise you, it will come to pass. Whatever you consistently pursue within your spirit has to come to pass. This is how the first atoms were formed. This is how the galaxy started to twirl. Consciousness was persistent in having an internal vision, picture, an idea of something that it wanted to create, and all it was a matter of time before it's all here for you and I to continue to evolve it, to expand it, and to enjoy it. This stuff works. I've seen this happen in my life over and over and over to bring me from poverty to abundance, from a lot of distracted mental strain, a lot of peace and joy in my life day to day, because I decided, listen, you can't have everything. but you can have what you want. You can't have everybody's love, but you can have the love of the people that really matter to you. You can't have everybody understand you, but you can have the people that matter to you understand you if you keep it simple, keep it straight focused, and do not waver in what you want. Stay affixed on what you actually want. What is the one thing you want that would have the most impact on your life? Focus on that every day for at least a year, and it's going to come to pass, or you're going to get a lot closer to it. It's going to be within your reach, because whatever you believe, you can achieve. Whatever you focus upon will come into your view. That is how the law works. Hey, don't forget to like this video. It really helps the channel grow. We appreciate your support. If you want to get the book, go down in the link in the description and you'll hit my affiliate link to Amazon. It really helps the channel as well. It'll take you right to the book. Blessings and peace.